Most people believe loyalty is emotional. They think it comes from love, from shared history, from good intentions, from deep connection. They believe loyalty is something you earn through kindness, through being there, through proving yourself over time. And once earned, it stays. That's the illusion. Machiavelli observed something colder. Loyalty follows interest. People stay where they benefit, where they feel safe, where staying serves them better than leaving. This isn't cynicism. It's pattern recognition. Watch any relationship, any organization, any alliance. Loyalty holds as long as the conditions that created it remain stable. The moment those conditions shift, the moment the cost of staying exceeds the benefit, loyalty evaporates, not dramatically, quietly. People don't betray you suddenly. They switch when the equation changes, when staying becomes uncomfortable, when leaving offers more, when their security no longer depends on you. The loyalty you thought was ironclad reveals itself as conditional. And the truth is, most loyalty is. People tell themselves stories. They believe they're loyal because of principle, because of love, because of who they are. But Machiavelli watched carefully, and what he saw was simple. Loyalty often lasts only as long as comfort does. When things are easy, everyone stays, everyone is committed, everyone swears allegiance. But introduce pressure, scarcity, risk, a better offer, and watch how quickly loyalty rearranges itself. This doesn't make people evil. It makes them human. And understanding this changes everything, because if you expect loyalty to be unconditional, you'll be blindsided every time it reveals its conditions. But if you understand loyalty as a response to circumstances, you stop being surprised. You stop taking betrayal personally. You start seeing patterns. Machiavelli didn't study loyalty in friendships. He studied it in power, in rulers who lost everything because they trusted the wrong people, in alliances that collapsed the moment advantage shifted, in subordinates who stayed loyal only as long as the leader looked strong. And what he discovered applies everywhere. In relationships, in business, in every dynamic where people choose to stay or leave, loyalty is not a feeling, it's a calculation. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Machiavelli watched rulers lose power due to misplaced trust. They believed in loyalty because people said they were loyal. They trusted because they wanted to trust. They assumed goodwill because assuming otherwise felt too dark. And they paid for it. Because Machiavelli noticed something. People are loyal when it is safe or profitable. When a leader is strong, feared, or beloved, loyalty flows easily. Everyone wants to be close to power. Everyone benefits from association. But the moment that power weakens, the moment the leader becomes a liability instead of an asset, loyalty vanishes. Not because people are uniquely treacherous, because they're protecting themselves. Fear of loss is often stronger than love of a leader. People don't abandon you because they hate you. They abandon you because staying threatens them. Staying with a failing leader means going down with them. Staying in a sinking organization means risking your own position. Staying loyal when everyone else is leaving means being the last one holding the bag. So they leave. Not out of malice, out of self-preservation. This is not cruelty. It's pattern recognition. Machiavelli wasn't advocating for betrayal. He wasn't celebrating it. He was simply describing what he observed over and over. When people had something to gain, they stayed. When they had something to lose, they left. The emotional stories they told themselves, The justifications they created, those came later. But the core mechanism was always the same. Loyalty is a response to incentives and consequences. If staying is rewarded, people stay. If leaving is rewarded, people leave. If loyalty is costly and disloyalty is profitable, most people choose profit. Not all people, but most. And Machiavelli's insight was that you cannot build anything stable on the assumption that people will act against their own interests out of loyalty, because they won't. Not reliably. Not when it matters most. He didn't ask how people should behave. He watched how they actually behave. And what he saw was uncomfortable but consistent. People are loyal to their own survival first, to their own advantage second, to you third. If those three align, loyalty is easy. If they conflict, loyalty becomes optional. In crisis, true motivations surface. When everything is comfortable, people's loyalty looks identical whether it's real or convenient. But introduce scarcity, danger, a costly choice, and you see immediately who stays because they're committed and who stays because they haven't found a better option yet. Crisis doesn't create disloyalty. It reveals it. So if loyalty is conditional, what actually sustains it? Not all loyalty is the same. Machiavelli understood there were two types, and confusing them is dangerous. Type 1. Convenient loyalty. This is loyalty that exists in comfort, when things are going well, when being loyal costs nothing, when staying benefits you. Convenient loyalty looks real, feels real. The person shows up, supports you, stays close, but it's contingent on circumstances staying favorable, on you remaining useful, on no better option appearing. The moment pressure arrives, convenient loyalty disappears, not because the person is malicious, because their loyalty was never about you. It was about what staying with you provided: safety, status, resources, comfort. When those things are threatened, the loyalty evaporates, based on benefits, sustained by ease, destroyed by difficulty. Type 2. Principled loyalty. This is loyalty based on identity and values, on who someone believes themselves to be, on principles they won't compromise even when it costs them. Principled loyalty is rare because it requires someone to stay when staying is difficult. To remain committed when leaving would be easier. To prioritize integrity over advantage. It's loyalty that survives crisis, that deepens under pressure, that becomes stronger precisely when it's tested. But it's not based on emotion. It's based on respect. Respect for shared values, for what you represent, for the relationship itself as something worth protecting even when it's inconvenient. Principled loyalty requires respect, not dependency. Convenient loyalty needs you to keep providing benefits. Principled loyalty chooses you even when benefits fluctuate, and most people confuse the two. They think everyone who stays during good times will stay during bad times. They think proximity equals commitment. They think pleasant interactions equal loyalty. But they don't. Stress doesn't break loyalty. It reveals its quality. When everything is easy, you can't tell the difference between someone who's loyal and someone who's comfortable. They look identical, but introduce hardship, risk, a reason to leave, and the difference becomes obvious. Convenient loyalty exits. Principled loyalty stays, not because principled people are better, because their loyalty was built on something more durable than circumstances. Convenience creates followers. Respect creates loyalty. People follow you when it's easy. They stay loyal when it's hard. And Machiavelli's real warning wasn't about others. It was about you. Blind loyalty makes you predictable, and predictable people are easy to use. Most people think loyalty is a virtue, something to be proud of, proof of their character, and in some cases it is. But loyalty without discernment is not virtue, it's vulnerability. Because when you're blindly loyal, when you stay committed regardless of how you're treated, regardless of whether that loyalty is reciprocated, you become exploitable. People learn they can take you for granted, that you'll stay no matter what, that your loyalty is guaranteed. And guaranteed loyalty has no value, because value requires scarcity, requires the possibility of loss. When someone knows you'll never leave, they stop earning your presence. They stop respecting your boundaries. They stop treating your loyalty as something precious, because why would they? You've already proven it's unconditional. Power requires awareness, not paranoia. Machiavelli wasn't advocating for constant suspicion, for trusting no one, for assuming everyone will betray you. He was advocating for clear sight, for watching how people behave, not just what they say, for noticing patterns, for recognizing when loyalty is real and when it's performance. Blind loyalty prevents you from seeing clearly. It makes you excuse behavior you shouldn't excuse, overlook patterns you shouldn't overlook, stay in situations you should leave, all in the name of being loyal. But loyalty to what? To whom? If you're loyal to someone who isn't loyal to you, you're not being virtuous. You're being used. Loyalty without discernment leads to betrayal trauma, because when you give loyalty blindly, when you don't assess whether it's earned or reciprocated, you set yourself up for devastation. You build your entire sense of self around being loyal, around staying, around never giving up on people, and then those people leave, or betray you, or reveal they were never as committed as you were, and it destroys you, not just because they left, but because your identity was built on staying, and now you're forced to confront that your loyalty was one-sided, that you were more committed than they were, that you mistook your dedication for a shared bond. Machiavelli valued controlled trust. Trust slowly. Observe quietly. Don't assume loyalty. Don't demand it. Don't give it blindly. Watch how people behave over time, under pressure. When it costs them something to stay, that's when you see the truth. And once you see it, you can decide who deserves your loyalty and who doesn't. Blind loyalty is self-abandonment disguised as virtue, because staying loyal to people who aren't loyal to you means abandoning yourself, your needs, your boundaries, your worth, and no relationship is worth that. So what does intelligent loyalty look like? Don't demand loyalty. Build value. Machiavelli understood something most people miss. Loyalty cannot be commanded. It cannot be guilt-tripped into existence. It cannot be demanded through appeals to history or emotion. Loyalty is earned through consistency, through respect, through becoming someone worth staying loyal to. If you want people to stay, give them reasons that go deeper than convenience. Build something they respect. Represent values they believe in. Treat them in ways that make leaving feel like a loss, not a relief. Don't expect permanence. Expect patterns. Nothing is permanent. Not relationships, not alliances, not loyalty. Circumstances change. People change. Incentives shift. The mistake is expecting loyalty to be static, unchanging, guaranteed. It's not. But patterns are reliable. If someone has stayed through difficulty before, they're more likely to stay again. If someone has left when things got hard before, they'll likely leave again. Watch the pattern. not the promises. Choose people who stay when benefits fluctuate. This is the test. Not who stays when everything is good. Everyone stays then. Who stays when things get difficult? When staying costs them something? When leaving would be easier? Those are the people worth keeping. Not because they're perfect, because their loyalty has been tested and proven. Be loyal to principles before people. This is the core of Machiavellian wisdom. Loyalty to people is conditional. It should be. Because people change. Relationships change. What once made sense may stop making sense. But loyalty to principles is stable, to integrity, to self-respect, to values that define who you are. Those don't shift with circumstances. Those guide you regardless of who stays or leaves. And when your loyalty is rooted in principle, you stop being devastated by people's departures because you weren't loyal to them. You were loyal to what you stand for, and that remains intact. Real loyalty isn't declared. It's demonstrated in difficult moments. Anyone can claim loyalty. Anyone can say they'll stay. Anyone can promise commitment. But words are cheap. Loyalty is proven when staying is hard, when it would be easier to leave, when no one would blame you for going. That's when you see who someone really is. The wise don't assume loyalty. They recognize it. They watch. They notice. They see who stays and who leaves, who makes effort and who makes excuses, and they adjust accordingly. Not with bitterness, not with cynicism, with clarity. Because once you understand loyalty as Machiavelli did, you stop expecting it to be something it's not. You stop demanding unconditional commitment. Stop giving blind trust. Stop being shocked when people act in their own interest. You just see it, clearly, calmly. And once you see clearly, you stop being surprised by human nature. You stop taking betrayal personally. Stop wondering why people left. Stop blaming yourself for misplaced trust. You just recognize the pattern, adjust, move forward. With the people who proved themselves worth keeping, and without the ones who didn't. That's not coldness. That's wisdom. And wisdom is the only loyalty that never betrays you,